Hey guys, welcome to lesson 6. In this lesson, I'm going to be sharing with you some bidding strategies that you guys can use, and I want to explain the difference between bid strategies like Google's automated bid strategies and then other options like doing manual bidding. So first of all, before I jump in and start explaining any of the automated bidding strategies, I just want to preface this by saying that I'm not really like a huge fan of automated bidding, but there are times when I have found that it can work really, really well. So I just want to make sure I'm presenting all the information to you guys so that you're educated and knowledgeable about all the different bidding types and the pros and cons of each, and when a good time is to maybe use some of the automated bidding strategies versus when you should be using manual bidding. So, like I've said many other times throughout this course, I really like to have a lot of control and not always let Google, just take the reins. I want to be sure I'm always doing what is best for my business or whatever business or advertiser I'm working for at the moment. And I don't want to necessarily do what's best for Google because those two things aren't always the same. Now, I'm not saying that sometimes they maybe could be, but most of the time they're probably not. One of the problems that I have found with automated bidding strategies is that although they may seem very appealing, very easy, very set it and forget it, they just simply do not give you the control that you need to properly optimize your accounts. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump in here, and I'm going to walk you through every bidding strategy that's available in the new AdWords experience. And then I'm going to talk to you about some different ways that you can do manual bidding and ways that you can take advantage of all of these different types of strategies. So let's get started here. First of all, what are automated bid strategies? So you might hear me talk about that. You may have heard this term before, but maybe you're not exactly sure what it is. So basically, automated bidding is an automated process that is designed to just basically maximize your AdWords campaign goals. So Google can accomplish this for you by analyzing just various performance data points that it has, including time of day or gender, user device, operating systems, just all kinds of data that Google has. It's able to analyze that and then use machine learning and basically its algorithms and all the information that it knows to make decisions. So they're all portfolio bid strategies, which used to be called flexible bid strategies, which basically means that advertisers can apply one strategy across all your campaigns, your ad groups, your keywords, and things like that. And just to give you a list here, the automated bid strategies that you'll find, we walked through these in the campaign settings. If you remember when we did the AdWords first campaign setup, I walked through these briefly. I didn't go into depth because I wanted to get into them in this specific lesson, but the options are maximize clicks, target search page location, target outranking share, target CPA, enhance cost per click, target ROAS, return on ad spend, and maximize conversions. So I'm going to go through all those in just a little bit more detail here in just a second. Also, smart bidding is like a subcategory of these automated bid strategies, and this type of bidding uses machine learning to optimize for conversions in real time. So this happens when an auction actually occurs. So that's just fancy speak for auction time bidding. And those are target CPA, target ROAS, maximize conversions, and enhance CPC. So those four are a form of smart bidding. So I have a lot of people that ask me like, okay, when should I use manual and when should I use automated? And, I just kind of explained my stance on automated, but automated bid strategies can be useful. And here's a couple scenarios where they are. They're best utilized when you have a large budget and a flexible budget, because Google will make optimizations on the fly, and you have to be ready for like really drastic changes from time to time, and you may not fully be prepared for it. So you just really need to have a bigger budget and have that flexibility for a negative, potentially negative impact to occur. Also, B, if you have like a ton of historical data from your past campaigns, this is going to really, really help. So this is one big condition, that if you do have a lot of historical data, Google will be able to better make predictions from that data to help with future bid decisions that it's going to make. So the more data that you have in your specific account, the more that the automated bid strategies can help you. Otherwise, they will not help you very much. And that's why in the campaign setups and walkthroughs, I've encouraged you guys to use manual CPC bidding from the beginning when Google doesn't know very much about you. So, I know the word automated might sound like, you're on cruise control, but like I said, you're just not going to have as much control, and you're going to have to monitor your campaign still. So it might sound like a set it and forget it strategy, but you're still going to need to monitor it, and not as much as with manual bidding, but you still will have to. So, I'm encouraging you to, in order to do it the right way, that manual bidding is the way to go, at least for sure in the beginning. And, although it might be a little bit more difficult, it's usually worth it in the end. But I'm still going to go through all of these strategies with you and let you, you can for sure make your own decision or try them out. I encourage you to test them out. But, from experience, I have found that unless you have one of these two scenarios, then it's better to go manual. Okay, let's jump in here. So first of all, we have Target CPA. Now, this used to actually be called Conversion Optimizer, so you may have heard that term before. But Target CPA just basically optimizes your bids so that you can get the most conversions for your cost per acquisition goal. So let me just give you an example. So say Joe owns a landscaping and lawn care business, and he offers an annual lawn maintenance service. And after crunching his numbers, he calculates that he can spend maybe $65 to acquire a new customer. And then he would still have money to cover like his hard costs. And so he's going to set his target cost per acquisition, his CPA, at $65. And then AdWords will optimize his ads to help him achieve that goal. So if this is a type of bidding strategy that you want to set up, first of all, you want to make sure you have to have conversion tracking in place. So you have to have that set up. You also need to have large volume keywords. So if you're running a campaign and you don't have high volume keywords, you have maybe a lot of little small volume, it's not going to work very well. Also, you need to have over 30 conversions that have happened and been tracked in your account over the past 30 days. So that's the sort of base requirement for historical data if you are wanting to use this type. So just keep that in mind before you use Target CPA. All right, next we have Target ROAS. So ROAS stands for Return on Ad Spend, and basically this is just the average value that you receive in return for every dollar that you spend on your ads. And using this strategy really focuses on trying to find the highest value of conversions instead of getting the most conversions that you possibly can at the lowest amount. So in this case, Google would target, like they would try to get you a $50 conversion instead of 10 $5 conversions, if that makes sense. So basically it measures the total revenue generated, while the difference between that and ROI is that ROI measures just profit, like pure profit. So, naturally your ROI is going to look like a really big number, and it's going to be 100% at your break-even point, even though you haven't made a penny in profit. So some might argue that like ROAS is just an inflated metric, but I believe that reporting ROAS comes with the understanding that you understand what that metric means. So it's a great strategy to test when you know exactly how much you can afford to pay for a customer, but you don't really have the time to get into the nitty-gritty of daily optimizations. So while it might cause you to overspend a bit, that's what you're giving up for not having to manage it. I just really encourage you to identify your industry benchmarks for your specific industry and then kind of see how that compares to your goals. All right. Now the next one here is target search page location. And this strategy basically helps you get your ads to the top of the front page, the first page search results, or just solely on the front page. And while that might sound easy, it does get a little bit complicated. And, the first ad position, it's not really it's not what it's cracked up to be. I know everybody just thinks they want that spot, it's prestigious, or you just want to get more clicks, but you have to keep an eye on whether or not those clicks are converting and if the conversions are profitable. So it's not like, for example, I typically encourage people to not always go for the top spot because it is a little bit more expensive. And sometimes you'll find that in the end, that extra cost for being in the top spot doesn't always pay off. And you can actually get a lot cheaper clicks in the second and third spots and do just as well on the conversion rates. So that is one thing that I will just put in here on this one as a side note, is that it's not always the best strategy to go for the top spot. So I just want to have you keep that in mind, that don't always go for position number one, but there is a bidding strategy here that helps you target your specific position. All right, next one is target outranking share. So now imagine that McDonald's wanted to declare like an AdWords war with Burger King. And if they did that, if they wanted to declare this war with them in AdWords, then McDonald's would want to implement this strategy. Basically, it allows advertisers to pick the competitor that they want to outrank, and they want to tell AdWords how many times they want to outrank them. And then AdWords basically automatically adjusts the advertiser's bid accordingly. So it adjusts your bid, if you're the one doing it, in a way that is going to have you outrank them. And so there's a whole bunch of settings that you can get in there and toy around with. And basically there's benchmark domain, which is the domain that you want to compete against. So that would be Burger King in this case, if I was McDonald's. And then there's the target outranking share, which is basically the percentage of auctions or the percentage of times that you want to bid directly against them. There's a max bid limit, which is the highest cost per click that you're willing to pay to outbid them. There's bid automation, which basically just says, do you want to let Google do this automated or do you want to do it manually? Which you can. So this is actually one of those weird situations where it's an automated strategy, but you can go in there and manually tweak it. And then you can determine whether or not you want to outrank them for low quality keywords or not. So that's something that a lot of people aren't aware of, that you can kind of go directly at your competitors if you want to. So that's an interesting one. Okay. Up next, there is a strategy called maximize conversions. And if you have a really large budget and you want to automate the process with the goal of driving more conversions, then this could be a decent bidding strategy for you. So in this case, Google optimizes for higher volume of conversions rather than the amount of dollars that your conversion is generating. So that's the conversion value. And when you're looking in your AdWords platform at the different metrics that you can add, like in the columns and things, that's the conversion value. There's a metric in there for that. But like always, like I've been saying, like there's not an automated bid strategy that's guaranteed for success. And of course, this bidding strategy, like the others, needs at least 30 days or more. I always recommend even more, because the more data that you give it, the better that it can actually do this automated, sort of thinking without, it has to have enough data to be able to do that accurately. So make sure you have conversion tracking set up if you're going to try this, and make sure don't use a shared budget. You need to make sure that your campaign you're running this on has its own budget, and make sure you have quite a bit of conversion data in there for Google to be able to use this strategy. All right, and then we have maximize clicks. I rarely use this, I'll be honest with you. I don't usually recommend it either, but if you do have a really solid conversion funnel down and all you want to do is just get users to your site, then this maximize click strategy can automatically adjust your bids to reach that goal. And you can apply this across your ad groups, your campaigns, and your keywords. But that is an option. And then finally, the last automated bid strategy that I'll share with you is called enhanced CPC. And basically this optimizes to just drive the most conversions by increasing bids when the algorithm thinks that there's a higher chance for conversion. So if you have a really large and flexible budget, like I've discussed in the beginning, with the primary goal of driving conversions, this could be a good strategy for you. And sometimes I get asked, like, what is the difference between enhanced CPC and target CPA? And basically with target CPA, advertisers set a target per conversion, or their cost per acquisition. And in this case, eCPC basically drives the most conversions, but it has a max CPC ceiling, if that makes sense. So you just have to be careful, because eCPC used to have this 30% bid adjustment cap, but this was removed in, I think it was like mid 2017. And so this means that your bids can fluctuate a lot, and that means that you really have to watch it pretty closely. And so you can even set your bidding strategy to manual CPC, and it actually typically defaults to having the enhanced CPC turned on, and I typically recommend to go in there and turn that off. Again, it's because of that large fluctuation that can happen with bids, and again, I like to control that and be able to go in there and tweak that and specify exactly what bid I want on each keyword. So that is the last automated bid strategy. And so in the next lesson, what I'm going to be doing and sharing with you is how to go in and do bid adjustment. So we've talked a lot about bidding strategies and different approaches and different ways to set it up. So now I'm going to show you how to go in there and really look at the data and make manual bid adjustments to really optimize and finesse your campaign so that we can make them more and more profitable. So I will see you guys in lesson 7.